Hey everybody, today I'll be showing you how to use the example code start coding closed loop with the real-time experimental control with graphical user interface REC-GUI. If you've not already set up your computer's IP addresses, see the real-time experimental control with graphical user interface tutorial guide or the REC-GUI tutorial video setting up the network switch. The first step in using the start coding closed loop code is finding the local and server ports available for your computers. This step is essential for the setup of the REC-GUI framework. These ports are defined in the files default.conf and startcodingclosedloop.m as 5001 and 5002 by default. These ports may not actually be available for you to use, so you'll have to change the ports in the code. Beginning with the Linux machine, open your terminal. Type netstat.ano. Under the heading inode, you will see a full list of the ports that are currently in use for the Linux machine. Look specifically for 5001 and 5002. My computer is currently not using these ports, so it is safe for me to leave them as is in the code. Moving over to the Windows machine, search for and open your command prompt. Again, type netstat.ano. This time you will see the used ports under the heading PID. Once again, neither 5001 nor 5002 is being used, so it is still safe for me to leave the ports as is. This process is slightly different on a Mac. Instead of working in the terminal, you will need to search for and open the activity monitor. This screen shows you everything your Mac is running, but more importantly, the ports being used. These are shown under the heading PID, and you are able to sort them numerically to quickly search. Again, my computer isn't using the default ports, so I will use 5001 and 5002 as they are currently defined in the code. Now that the local and server ports are confirmed, you can run the GUI. Opening the GUI occurs on the Linux machine. In the terminal, you must open the REC-GUI master folder downloaded from GitHub and then the file main.py. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with Linux, follow this procedure to open main.py. Type cd, meaning change directory, REC-GUI master. If you do not have the master folder saved to your desktop, you may need to change directory until you get to the folder. Between directories, it may be beneficial for you to list the contents of the directory until you are comfortable skipping steps. To list the contents of the directory, type ls. Now you will see two folders, GUI 1.1 and MATLAB, as well as some standalone documents. The GUI is housed in the GUI 1.1 folder. Type cd GUI 1.1 to access the folder. By listing the contents, you can see all of the example codes and the configuration files included in this folder. And you will see that main.py is here. Type python main.py to open the GUI. Once the GUI is opened, there will be a pop-up window saying, please select iRecording method to be used. Select OK. For start coding closedloop.m, we do not need any eye tracking, so you can select none, and then OK. Another pop-up will appear telling you to load subject and task files to proceed. Hit OK. Now you're in the GUI. Here we have the monitoring panel, control configurations, user programmable buttons, task control panel, subject name panel, sending and receiving panels, and the data log. We're going to start up here in the task control panel. Type startcodingclosedloop.conf, then press load. You will see variables in the sending panel. If you do not immediately see variables in the receiving panel, scroll down a bit, and then you'll see these variables. These variables, mouse H and mouse V, will have filled values that will be sent from the MATLAB machine based on the variables being sent from the sending panel. Move over here to the subject name panel. Type test and then press load. You'll now see the subject configuration panel. These parameters are all laid out in test. Now you'll want to select dragging from the monitoring panel. Everything is now set up in the GUI. Open the MATLAB file startcodingclosedloop.m if you did not already open it to change your local and server ports. In the command window, type start coding closed loop 1. You'll see that I have a fatal error here. This is due to a bad local or server port, even though we didn't see 5001 or 5002 in use when we set that up. In lines 31 and 32, I will change my ports to 4001 and 4002 for the local and server ports since I didn't see those in use earlier. I will also have to change my ports in default.conf. It is important that you make the local and server ports opposite of the MATLAB code. So now my local port is 4002 and my server port is 4001. Back to MATLAB, we'll go to the command window and type start coding closed loop 1 again. You will now see a pop-up in the GUI that confirms the connections between GUI and MATLAB. Select OK. Now when you go to the monitoring panel of the GUI, you can click and drag the cursor around, and in the command window of MATLAB, you'll see the mouse positions responding in real time. You will also see the positions that MATLAB is showing you here in the receiving panel. You can now pause the experiment to temporarily stop data collection, or you can stop the experiment to cease data collection. If you stop data collection, you will be given a prompt to save the task or subject configuration files if desired. Selecting yes will take you back to the GUI. From here, you can either save the files by clicking save at either of these places to save that respective file. Clicking no will stop data collection without saving. To exit the GUI, click exit here. Again, you'll be prompted to either go back and save or select no to exit. You have now completed your first REC-GUI example. You can use this code to start familiarizing yourself with the GUI and create your own experiments. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more videos on using the REC-GUI framework.